Here we go. Morning. 1, 2, 3. On your mark, get set, go, right? Whatever you want to do there. How are you guys? I hope you had a great weekend. Remember, today's day 2 of the week. How did you spend day 1? I spent it in deep meditation. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, grin, grin. Sarah and I actually got some well-needed rest in, I think, and some fun meditation. So here we are, day 20 of 26 Days of You, and I got a lot to share, as I always do. I kind of like not sharing a lot on the weekends because it piles up, you know what I mean? It just piles up on me. But then I come back here and I explode on you, and then here we go. So I've got some ideas. Now, things that we've touched on and ran past, I'd like to bring up real quick for you. Good morning to everybody. I hope you guys are doing a great job this week. All your goals, anything that you're working on, reach out and let me know your successes, okay? Mr. Porter, how you doing, buddy? Good morning. I touched on the books. I've got a series of books, unless it becomes one really giant book that is coming out. And, this isn't a sales pitch, but it kind of is. We need to make money to pay for the things that we love to do and the people that we love to help. So I got a book coming out. Watch for that. And I can't share it on here. I was told to keep it to myself for a little bit before it came out. So I'm doing that. But we touched on that. If you go back to some of the videos, you'll see a little bit of hints about where that's coming from. And it really pertains to this. It pertains to what's happening on here as far as the coaching goes and the relationship between people. I'll give you that. I've got some ideas for some workshops. When I come on here and I talk about certain ideas, inevitably 2 or 3 people reach out to me and say, wow, Mr. Adkins, or Jim, that was exactly what I needed to hear. I've been thinking about that. And this is, I'd love to experience or talk about that more. And it works out really well. So, but touching on it and handing it over and then letting it drop, in my opinion, is not responsible as a coach on my part or even a friend. So what I'd like to do is maybe some week-long workshops. Again, you know how this goes. If I fly by the seat of my pants and I ad lib and I go from the feeling to you, and the sincerity is always better than planning and write it down. So the plan is now to write it down and see how it happens. So the 3 things that I think we could do good workshops on, and you let me know what you think, okay? And we'll just spend a couple of days on them. As we get to the end of the month, Sunday next week will be day 26. So we'll start the week then at day 26 of you, just kind of wrapping up the things we're talking about now, and we'll go forward with the first workshop. The workshops can be on some of the topics I'm going to talk about today. And then at the end of this video, I'll share with you the lesson I'm relearning in a hard way. And it's a very important lesson. And we constantly do this to ourselves. We and I don't want to use the word mistakes, but we have a tendency to repeat actions or mistakes only to recognize that we've done them before or learned the lesson previously. And here we are again, right? At the end of this video, I'll share with you mine. And I kind of titled it, beating the giant, learning to defeat the giant, because I'm relearning how to defeat the giant. And I'll go there at the end. So workshops. We've talked about meaning and what meaning you give to certain actions, not just actions, but situations, things that occur to you. And some of the examples were, you're sitting alone at night and you hear footsteps in your house stepping up behind you. Now, the meaning you give to that is going to be based on your emotional state of mind, right? If you've been watching a scary movie, those footsteps might mean something different than if you've been watching a romantic movie or waiting for your loved one to come home, right? So those footsteps can have different meanings. And you decide. You get to decide. And it's usually by the state that you're in. So controlling your states of being typically will help you decide what meaning to give things that occur around you. And those meanings will dictate the quality of your life and the fulfillment that you get in your daily activities. I think that's funny, right? That's not funny. That's excuse me, it's a wrong word. I think that is perfect. That's a good way to put it. And we could do a workshop on, what does it mean? And we can go through, and the workshops that I'm talking about will be real life experiences, and I'll share with you as many as I have to of mine until I have others that give us some of theirs too, or even you, on, this is what occurred. These are the emotions and the state of mind that I was in at the time. And these are the decisions that were made. And I will share those with you if you want. So we go through the workshop and we teach each other, the different meanings we can give, the different emotional states that we can be in, so that you actually have tools in your toolbox to draw from. When I ask you guys, well, change your state, change your emotional state, and it sounds good and you agree with it, then you go, okay, well, what do I change it to? If you don't have a reference, shame on me for pointing you in the direction in the dark, right? So I'd like to give you some frames of reference. I'd like to share with you other people's experiences and my own, and give you some emotional states that you can try on and move forward with. And then on the second part of that would be, when you're in that emotional state and something occurs, what choices can you make? And there's a plethora of decisions and meanings you can give things. But if you have, a view of, well, that road rage incident, that car that cut me off was driving really slow. Let's say a car that's driving really slow, got their turn signal on. I'm in a hurry. Well, change your emotional state. Think it through for a minute. That could be a new driver, somebody's child who's scared to death. And with you being on their tail honking their horn, they're even more nervous about trying to get to where they need to be. And if you think that way as a parent, would you want somebody doing that to your child? It reframes the whole situation. And now you want to be helpful. Let me hold traffic off a minute. I'll back up a little. I'll slow down, and I'll allow this car, this person, to make the right decisions and do what they need to do. And then I'll go on my way. That extra 5 seconds of honking my horn and trying to get them to move and pull over isn't going to help me get to where I'm going any faster. It really isn't. If you're that late, you need to change your morning ritual. See how you reframe those things? So that's one workshop that we can work on. So when you reply, when I ask you in the middle of this video, which one would you prefer to do? Let's take a vote. And I'm going to do them all. It'll just be the order that we do them in, okay? Now, try not to let them bleed into each other. This one is called beliefs. And, what meaning do you give to things? So that's what we'll talk about there. Number 2, your rituals. And, it doesn't matter 1, 2, or 3, but rituals. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? We all have a ritual. I offered some examples of change a few months ago, or a month ago, when we were doing the positivity challenge. When you wake up, before your feet hit the floor, have a gratitude statement. What are you grateful for? If you recognize the things that you're grateful for, and you are capable of recognizing the fulfillment you already have in your life, it changes things. It really does. So number 2, we can talk about, we're going to have a workshop on rituals. And what rituals can you have? Again, as a coach, as a friend, when I say, well, change your rituals, raise your standards, get up there, let's do some things, and I don't help you with certain examples, what have I done? But, point to a dark room and say, okay, go ahead and find your way. So I think as a responsible coach, what I'd like to do for that workshop would be give you some rituals that I've learned myself, tell you the ones that I do that I'm changing on a regular basis. I am absolutely raising my standards every day. And when you do that, I reinvent myself every day. And I'll share that with you. And I've interviewed some incredible people that you would, good, thank you, sir. People that you would consider very successful. Now, when you say very successful, of course, that is a arbitrary term, because some people judge success by finances, some people judge success by happiness. So it's all relative, right? But I have interviewed some incredible people, and I have some rituals that I specifically asked, how in the world do you achieve that? I know it was a silly question, but I was younger, right? I didn't know how to ask questions great. Well, that's not the truth. I just was in awe and tell me, please. I've also asked some more intelligent questions of some very intelligent people, and some people that I have not had the opportunity to talk to yet, that I have studied their rituals. I will share all of that with you. Okay. So rituals and how to change them. I can give you one right now, and I just gave you one, the gratitude statement. The way I wake up in the morning, and it's different every morning, right? Oh, the alarm clock, or all the cats, or all the weather, or you get a cold or whatever, and you how you awake, or you have a dream. It's like, whoa, what was that about? Before I move, I try to remember the dream. I try to write my dreams down, and it's you never can write fast enough. At least I can't. So you write the main memories, and as you write the memories, some of them will fade, some of them will become holy crap. There's a whole bunch of them, and you write them down. That's one ritual I have, and then I set it away. I don't work on it. I don't mess with it, and I roll over to my beautiful wife when I'm lucky enough to be home and near her, um, and I hold her, and I try not to wake her up, but that doesn't happen. I'm up really early, and I remember just how grateful and lucky I am. That's my first thought. It's just how grateful and lucky am I to have this wonderful person in my life. Well, that gratitude statement fills me with love, and then everything I do from that moment on is with love. And if she's awake, we'll talk about her dreams for a minute. If she asks me, I'll share mine with her. And I will quietly try to gather my stuff. I'm a noisy person in the morning, and I usually do it at night before, but gather my stuff, move into the living room, and start my sit-ups and start my breakfast. And on the road I go. So the first thing that you can do in the morning to change your state of being is that gratitude statement. And it doesn't come from here, it comes from here. All right. So there's one. All right. And number set goals, how to set and achieve goals. This one seems simple, but a lot of people fall short. And again, as a coach or as a friend, I tell you guys, set your goals, have a clear view, map it out, and then move forward. And I don't really help you with the steps. Now, I'm not going to hold your hand. You don't need that. If you do, contact me and I'll grab a hold of it and we'll take off. But on the workshop, what I'd like to do is just give you some clearly defined, some outline steps on how to achieve your goals. And I didn't say set goals. I said how to achieve your goals. I'm not going to give you a workshop on how to put things together, even though that'll be in the workshop. What I want to do is give you a successful map that will inevitably get you to your end result. So let's vote on that, okay? Number one, what does it mean? How to give meaning to the things in your life and help you make better decisions. Number two, your rituals. And then number three, how to achieve your goals. And I'm going to rewrite that because I know how to achieve. Good. There we go. Mr. Porter, it looks like you and I are on here all by ourselves, but people will look later. How are you doing? I know that we talked a little bit, Kevin, about some of the things you were changing. Are you working out? Are you happy with your career? Are you in the middle of changing careers? What's going on with you, buddy? You can do this privately too. Contact me privately and we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss. All right, heading forward. We're at the halfway mark. I want to vote. Okay, I want you guys to vote. I'm going to let this hang for a couple of days. You know, we got 6 days if you want to take the vote, because during the next 6 days of 26 days of you, we're just going to be discussing things that come across the board. I have a student who is talking about freedom of speech. That's something we can talk about, and it pertains to her career and Facebook. I don't know if you guys have that issue or not, but we'll touch on that a little bit. Miss Tompkins. Tompkins. I don't know why I call you Thompson. Change your name. I'm just kidding. All right. With me, what lesson is Mr. Adkins relearning in a hard way? Well, Mr. Shetler, how are you, sir? Good, Mr. Porter. I'm looking forward to it. Here we go, guys. And I try not to get too personal, so I may speak in third person. I may even make up some imaginary person that went through this, okay? We don't know John Smith, but John Smith went through this, and by golly, I'm going through it with him. All right, so defeating the giant. Where do I start? Okay, we'll just start from this weekend. This weekend, I had the privilege and opportunity of singing again this last weekend. And if you followed me at all, you know I love singing. I love the connection between the audience and myself and the band. When it when it's a real connection, when it becomes a business, and it has for me in the past several times, you follow the pattern, you follow the routines, and inevitably, if you want to get paid for what you're doing, money gets involved. And when money gets involved, it becomes a business. If it doesn't become a business, or if there's not a business person there, money and responsibilities get out of hand. There's no clear written view of what you're supposed to do or who's supposed to do what. And then pretty soon, when one person takes responsibility, the others look harshly on that person. It's just a mess. It becomes a mess. And it's happened to me several times because I'm the guy that if it's not getting done, I'm going to step up and get it done. Does that make sense? And if I don't and other people do it, I trust that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And if it doesn't get done, I'm out of the loop. We're falling apart. So, on that note, singing this last weekend, I poured my heart and soul into the performance. I gave everything I had to the audience, like I always do. Not always, excuse me. Like I try to do every time. I try to add value to people's lives when I'm in front of you. And I felt it went really good. The band is awesome. We don't. There's no egos there. It's really the band I'm playing with now is so fun, so much fun. Not that the other bands that I played with weren't fun. They were for a time, right? Then things start rolling. People get jealous, and it turns into a mess. So when you have stress in your life, and stress can mean a lot of different things, it creates an unease or a dis-ease in your soul, in your being, in your cellular structure, in your physical structure. And stress can manifest itself into some very major situations in your life if gone unchecked. Now, a lot of us think we can handle stress and we just kind of pack it away. We don't share it with anybody because if you give it to me, I'll take care of it. You guys feel that way? Hand it to me. I'm not going to share it with everybody. I'm not going to burden anybody else with it. I got this. Let me have it, and I'll take care of it. When you do that, sometimes packing it on like that gets really heavy. And if you got no one to talk to by choice, it becomes very heavy. And to wake up each day and hit the ground running with an extra 3,000 pounds of stuff, it gets tough. And it creates disease in your body. Well, let's just assume that type of situation took place in somebody we know life, and it manifested itself in a way that could have been permanently harmful to this individual. In an inadvertent, non-conscious way, all of these things piled up on me. Let's just say that. Okay, excuse me a second. And when they did, I didn't notice it because I just shoveled it underneath and dealt with it as I could. I just thought it was what it was, right? Okay, I'll speed this up for you. So I end up with, or this John Smith guy ends up with this disease that he has to function and take care of, or it's going to destroy things. There are certain methods for John Smith that were unacceptable in dealing with the meds or dealing with the disease, because the way that you dealt with the disease was more harmful than the disease. It seemed. Have you ever seen those ads for medication on TV? Side effects may include explosive diarrhea, sudden death, thoughts of suicide. What? What? Why would you put something like that in your body? That cracks me up. But while watching that, I was doing the same. John Smith was doing the same thing to himself, right? So that's not going to happen. We're not going to do that route. We're going to do Nothing. And we're just gonna go until we can't go anymore. And you keep that to yourself and you deal with it. Okay. There's a treatment for these certain diseases, and like the ones I and like there's a ton of them on TV, right? Where they say that kind of stuff. So let's just assume, let's take those for example, where you're taking medication to fight the disease that you created probably. Well, that's in John Smith's case that he created himself. John Smith, no offense, okay? This is John Z. Smith. All right, it's me. All right, stop it. The disease was created by yourself. Good morning, Miss Quinn. And you're taking these meds to fight the disease, okay? But the meds are not good for you either. So physically, there are side effects. There are things that are changing that aren't good for you either. So now you've got one thing you want to get rid of and 10 things that you've acquired. Are we getting ahead? Sounds like one step forward, two steps back, or one step forward, 10 steps backwards, right? Okay, keep this in your little shelf for a minute. You know me, how I run around things. So let's keep this in your shelf. So you've got something that is that a student here already? I may have to jump up and unlock the door. I may run to do that. Commercial break. Look at the book back here. There you go. Find anything interesting? Yeah, that one right there is pretty interesting, right? Right. Sorry, guys. Had to unlock the door. My fault. I should have done it 45 minutes ago. Okay, so you have the disease that's created by stress. You've created it. You go to specialists or experts who are going to help you with it. They tell you that you do this, you take this, it fights the disease, and then it's giving you, okay? Well, the lesson I'm relearning is how to defeat the giant. Let's go to some self-defense for the analogy. Follow me, stay with me. As a little person learning martial arts, and I teach a lot of the kids. I teach a lot of little people, women that are petite, men that aren't 6 feet tall, that think about having to deal with larger opponents. When I say opponents, I mean people that would do you harm, okay? Self-defense. Follow me? We're still on the subject of disease. Just stick with me for a minute. This giant person comes to attack you. Why? Because they think they can. They think you're smaller. They think you're weaker. They place you as a victim, whatever their reason. And you find yourself forced to deal with it. You can no longer put it off. You can no longer not look at it. You can't run away anymore. It's there. Follow me? Well, how do you beat this bigger person? Well, you can grab a weapon or a tool. Now, let's say you pick up a gun. I'm not advocating this, okay? This is an example. Pay attention. It's an analogy. Follow along. You pick up a gun and you shoot your attacker and you mortally wound. You kill your attacker, okay? Now you've got to deal with the effects of taking a life. Follow me? I went to the extreme first, but I wanted to get your attention. So you pull the gun. Did it work? Yes. My attacker no longer exists to attack me, but now I have the residual effect of what it means to have to deal with taking a life. Could be legal. I doubt it. Okay, if he was really attacking you, probably got no problems there. Could be social. Some people don't agree with defending yourself with a firearm, and they might give you grief over it. It could be emotional. Watching the life of another go away by the use of your own hands emotionally could affect you. And it could be spiritual. It could go against everything that you were taught to believe before. So now we've got all of these side effects of taking care of yourself. Make sense? Well, if you use the extreme example that I just did, and you have all of those side effects, how you defeat the giant, because the giant is no longer the person. The giant are the side effects. hold that in a little place right here for me, okay? Let's pick another way to deal with a giant without our side effects. Maybe. We look at the soft targets, and this is what you teach children, right? When a giant person is attacking you, children are not going to pull a gun, and I'm not going to teach them to pull a gun. That would be up to their family, their beliefs, and their household, right? But you teach them to take soft targets that they can manipulate and affect effectively and get a result. And you start with the easiest ones first. There are certain things that you can do to a big guy or big girl or a big person that will affect them just as much as it would a little person. And as you break the giant down, you defeat it. It may take a little longer, maybe a little harder. The fight may have a little more, tumultuous effects on you. You might get hurt, but in the end, you've broken the giant down, you've beat him. Okay. Come back to the disease. When removing stress or the dis-ease from your body, it only makes sense. And this was what I learned later. I don't know why I didn't think of it at the beginning, right? Hindsight. You get rid of the things that cause the disease. And then you focus on healing. So what do? You find the things that are most stressful in your life. Well, if you've buried them for so long, it's hard to determine what it is that's actually creating this major stress. It could be relationships, it could be finances, it could be a number of things. It could be rituals that you have, that you believe these are beneficial to me and no, they're really creating a lot of stress. It could be your hobbies. The most fun thing that you think you can do, singing, might be causing you stress. Well, I did some deep soul searching and I found 2 or 3, 4 or 5 things that were building stress. And I tagged them with, this is no more. I am not going to settle this way. I'm not going to accept this. This is not going to kill me. This is not going to weigh me down. It's gone. And then I gave it reasons. This is why this builds stress. I'm away from home. I have bad habits that are unhealthy for myself when I'm traveling. These things got to go. The music business is not a business I like because of this, and this. And so you cut it loose. You let it go. And I did that with a lot of things in my life that were not serving me and some people. See you later. No hard feelings. Just you're not what I need in my life. Okay. And I can share those with you. They're very personal, but if you want, I can share some deeper introspective on it, what exactly I cut loose and let go. And I'm willing to do it again in a heartbeat. Things that don't serve you don't belong. They really don't. Make sure that you're not just making excuses, though. Make sure that these are real situations and don't just punish people because you're having a bad day. Don't do that. Really take some inventory before you make these choices, okay? And I did. I really did. So I find myself right back singing again. It was one of the things that I cut loose. I fired a band. I let a band in, out west go, 2 of them, because it was a little stressful. And then I find it fell right back into my life again, probably because it belongs. The music belongs. The actions that surround the music for me that have been ingrained in my soul for over 30 years of my life, maybe even longer. You can probably give it all my life, 50 years of it. Don't serve me, but they still exist. So now to fight the giant, I now have to fight the symptoms again. The symptoms of what goes with the things that I got rid of remanifest and come back to the surface. So this weekend, same thing happened. Even though it was a fantastic show, the people in the crowd loved it. For the most part, I only focus on the good stuff. So if somebody didn't like it, I didn't focus on that. Did I? Yeah, I did. And it hurts. But the other things that go along with it, the staying up late, the eating not so right, the potential alcohol or not alcohol that might or may not go with it, And there are certain things that I know from singing professionally for a long time that cannot happen after a show, or things just don't go the way they should. I can share with you one without being too personal. As a singer, if you do a good job, the people that love what you do want to talk to you. They want to touch you. They want to spend time with you. And I understand that. I'm the same way, right? So if I'm on stage, and I can only speak from personal experience, I can't speak for anybody else, okay? When I love to mingle with the audience while I'm singing. So I'll jump off the stage no matter how high it is, and I'll go out and like I did Saturday, I'll dance with the crowd and I'll shake hands and I'll make eye contact and sing to them, and I love that. It feels incredible because they're enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. It's great. After the show, everybody who sticks around wants that interaction. And what I found is the longer I stick around after a show, the more people I tend to disappoint. Let me explain that. Have you ever stood in a crowd of people, wanted to shake somebody's hand or meet them, or even just say thank you to them? Just a simple, hey, how you doing? You're not a crazy fan. You just want to, hey, how's it going? And that person seems to ignore you and then leaves before you get the chance to show your gratitude and appreciation. Sometimes that weighs heavy on you, right? Inevitably for me, for every one person I get to shake their hand and say hello to, I feel like there's 100 people that I didn't get the opportunity to say hi or thank you to. Could be self-induced, could be BS in my own mind, right? But it's a real feeling. It really is. And I know I've walked away leaving somebody wanting. And I'll take that back to the hotel or the car, and I'll feel miserable. I'll feel terrible about it. I want, you know what I mean? I want to make everybody happy. So I want to help everybody. I want to make the experience enjoyable. So these are things that I know take place, and given the opportunity, there are ways to circumvent them. So here I am learning to fight the giant again with the symptoms. Let me share this with you. Fighting cancer, there's a medicine to fight cancer that you take it, and the poison that they give you actually kills the cancer. The poison kills the